Hey kiddo, do you want to look like what you're seeing on screen right now?
No? Well, fuck off then. This video isn't for you. But those who do, stick around. Good evening, and welcome to the Urban Space Zone. I'm your host as always, the Urban Spaceman. And now, I've seen many people, from a high mastery rank to low mastery ranks, move like they've got cinder blocks tied to their ankles, and they're at the bottom of the ocean. Probably for making that one dodgy guy in trade chat just a little bit too agitated, but hey, that's none of my business. It's embarrassing when you see these moves from the likes of mastery rank 25 players, which is surprising, but I've seen it all too often. And probably you have as well. Maybe they should have spent less time in Draco/Berryhinia and spent that time, actually playing the game and learning how to move, but who am I to judge how people play? Now, movement in Warframe is similar to a river. It flows so well, but can also be a bit rough at first. And you're probably familiar with the already established jump, double jump, slide and sprint maneuvers. What have I told you that to speed through any mission, you only need to use these keys assigned to these basic maneuvers, the defaults being space, control and shift, and those are practically all you need, along with 5 and right mouse click, which is not hard to get the grasp of at all. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves with more advanced tactics, let's just get into the most important part, the basics, and the best place to practice this step is the planes. So by pressing control and space you'll perform what's called a bullet jump. Now this is your main source of propulsion. You can go straight up into the air or use it to gain momentum for horizontal movement. Couple that with a double jump and you've got yourself a basic but effective combo for traversing any form of land. And by tapping the run button, you can perform a roll, which will extend this combination even further. And sliding can be performed in midair for extending the length of your jump, or just to simply transition smoothly into another bullet jump. Another way to combo these is to bullet jump, hold slide midair, and use your second jump while sliding. This will extend your jump a little bit better, but it's more situational. It's useful nonetheless. Now this combo is your bread and butter when it comes to Parkour 2.0, and even though these are effective, we're not done yet. Far from it actually. Let me talk about wall jumping, and the best place to practice this is the dojo rooms of the pillars, or one of the default capturas that looks like Hydron. You're welcome for that tip by the way. Wall jumping is situational but very important, mainly because your roll, bullet jump and double jump can only be performed once while suspended in the air, but your slide can be performed at any point in time. Landing on the ground will reset all of these, but so does wall jumping. So you should definitely take advantage of that, because these can be used to extend your jumps and movement tenfold in the right situation. And like I said, very situational. You might not come across walls to jump on in certain areas of the map, but when you do, you should definitely take advantage of it. And once you perform it, my god, you feel like a real space ninja. Trust me. But we've been leaving out another maneuver, and that's assigned to the right mouse button, and that's the aim glide or melee block, depending where you've got your primary and secondary out or your melee. And this has a surprising amount of uses, such as extending jumps and leaps even further than you can imagine, and giving you the ability to divert your momentum when rolling, which will become useful later on with an advanced tip, well, quote unquote advanced. But coupled with sliding, by alternating between sliding and air gliding, is another good way to extend your jumps. It isn't really needed all too often, since the previous maneuvers are all you'll really need to traverse any land. It's just something you may want to keep in mind. So that's it, isn't it? Nah, again, far from it. We've got a couple of what I'll call advanced tips, and like I said, quote unquote advanced tips, because they're actually pretty easy to get the basic grasp of and perform them. One of which being hard drops, which is the best way to kill your momentum in just under 2 seconds. I'm forced to watch this awful stagger animation, and I bet some speedrunners get PTSD when they see this. It's ridiculous. It's better than fall damage, don't get me wrong, but a simple slider roll can avoid this. It's harder with a roll since you can only use one while suspended in air, like I said, so sliding is honestly the way to avoid these if you ask me. And plus, like I said, transitions well into a bullet jump, eh? Then we've got what I'll call corner cutting, and it's only really useful in the procedurally generated maps of Warframe, so about 80% of the game. And there are so many sharp corners you need to turn in these maps, it's bloody ridiculous. But this is where aim gliding / melee blocking and rolling comes into play. When you know you're about to take a corner, aim and roll whilst simultaneously turning your camera to the area you want to divert your momentum to, and voila. It's definitely not needed, and it's definitely not the most consistent way, but hey, it's better than halting to a stop, redirecting your frame and killing all of your momentum faster than any hard dropping ever could. And while we talk about rolling, let's talk about backflips real quick. These are used rarely, but when you slam headfirst into a wall, it's great for backing up. And the final tip is using your 10.0 in tandem with your frame, albeit to make the most out of this tip, you need Zenuric with the nodes Void Siphon and Void Flow maxed out, with or without the way bounds unlocked. If you do have the way bounds unlocked, you can just use any focus skill. And your Void Dash, holy shit. It's so fast and easily controlled. And if you thought the last tip was hard corner cutting, then you can simply just go into your 10.0 and cut that corner without 3/4 of the effort. One thing to note before you go into your 10.0 form, never go into your operator over a pit. Your Warframe will fall, and thus it will count as you falling, and will respawn you in another location. So that's the basic gist of Parkour 2.0. Like I said, it should be common knowledge by this point, but as I mentioned from the beginning, seen it all too often. There's high mastery rank players out there who don't know how the fuck to use this, and who just press sprint. Like, I'd rather have cramps in my hand than sacrifice 2 or 3 mod slots, including the aura maybe, depending, for sprint speed. And to me, that playstyle is the most boring, linear, archaic shit I've ever had to go through. It's like, yeah, if you're a speedrunner, yeah, just run all you want, but I'm gonna stick to my Parkour 2.0, thank you very much. But anyways, enough of me rambling. This has been the Urban Spaceman, signing out, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.